I want to play a game with you.
Goodness.
And it is it is inspired by a game that you played with your guests the day after the 2016 election. I loved this because, speaking of using comedy to deal with stuff, the way I behaved after that election, I don't think comedy was where I went to try to deal, but I definitely felt like I needed to deal with my feelings. And I wish I had listened to Underqualified Idiocracy, that episode, because I think it would have been a lovely way to feel heard and understood and felt for and laugh my fanny off. But you played this game with your guests where you gave them the names of candidates that had participated in the election, and then everybody riffed or improvised what the Simpsons character would be, like who that would be if that was a Simpsons character.
Actually, the interesting part about that was, I do remember that game. I don't remember the name of it, but actually it was split down the middle. Half of it was elected officials and half of it was actually characters from The Simpsons.
Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about, like blurring the line of like, am I even like aware of how much I'm hearing is accurate or not right now? No, I love that because I couldn't tell the difference. And it seemed like you guys treated them all as Simpson characters. You'd be like, oh, this is who this is. And like people would just describe them, whether it was like, oh, Milhouse is the one with the blue hair and the glasses, or the guy's candidate. And that's what you said. Like everybody committed fully to the description of the person. So
Yeah.
I thought they were all real people.
I think that's just a testament to the great writing on The Simpsons.
and the improvisation qualities of your group. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the name of a local. I'm going to give you the name of a podcast that is not a Utah podcast.
Oh, okay.
Like it's not like Utah specific. And I want you to pretend like it is. Like it is totally a local podcast. And I want you to kind of give me the quick skinny on what that podcast is about as a Utah topic.
An improv game this early. Okay.
All right, here we go. Okay. The Mission Daily.
Well, the Mission Daily obviously takes place at the MTC in Provo, and it's just keeping track of who leaves on their mission day by day.
Unchained.
Oof. That is about when Utah people go crazy and they cut chain link fences. It's just an hour of you hearing metal being cut.
Strangers.
I don't talk to strangers, so I'm not listening to that podcast.
The Art of Manliness.
I really hope that it's a podcast hosted by a woman who lives in Provo.
Stuff you should know.
I guarantee that's 90% about Jell-O.
Burnt toast.
Burnt. The proper brunch to eat with your bros.
The Walk.
The Walk. That's so like, that sounds like a Steven Spielberg movie, like something he's optioning.
I've Had Better.
That's also about Jell-O.
The Vanished.
The Vanished is about ghosting people on Mutual.
For those of us of my generation, let me just reiterate what I think you said. Mutual's Tinder for like Mormons, right?
Yeah.
And ghosting is like when people like don't respond to you.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
I'm super old.
Coming from a very real and very painful place. Yeah, it's like when you're messaging somebody and you're like, oh, I'm not feeling this, so you just stop messaging back, or they're like, I'm not feeling this, and they stop messaging back.
Oh, they just like cut off contact or whatever.
Yeah.
Does that educate my middle-aged self for a minute? Does that happen like live? Like, is that like you and I would be texting right now and then all of a sudden you would just stop? Or is that like over weeks, like, hey, we sort of like are on and off texting and then it just stops? Are both of those ghosting?
For me, it usually happens immediately after the first date. It's more, it could be either or. I think I've had both of them. I've blocked out the immediate ones for my own psyche. But in my experience, it's usually more gradual. It's like you're trying to keep a conversation going, but you both kind of slowly are like, well, this isn't working. And it just kind of trails off till you just stop completely.
And then you're done. Okay, I learned.
I mean, I could be wrong.
Well,
sometimes what I do on the internet makes me look like a 96-year-old man. So
I feel like I'm more far afield as a 36-year-old woman at the moment. So all right, so that was The Vanished. WTF.
I'm familiar with WTF. That's Mark Maron's podcast.
Yeah, but now you have to pretend like it's not.
Talking about, WTF. That's Why the Face.
And what happens on Why the Face?
A guest comes on and they make a face and they're like, "What are you feeling? Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's have a really emotionally intelligent and smart conversation about you and your feelings."
It's a therapy podcast. It's called WTF.
Yeah. Why the Face?
Oh, I love it. Legends and losers.
That's just talking about people who moved out of the town they grew up in and people who didn't. Oh boy, that was mean.
No, I like that. I feel like that's something that if you were talking about that on Underqualified Idiocracy, I'd be like, is that true? Do I have to like Google that now? Are they making that up?
Yeah.
I can't tell. Luke, thank you so much for letting me interview you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for letting me come be silly.
That was great. And everybody listen to Underqualified Idiocracy with your producing, writing, hosting, funny, awesome human being, Luke Haueter.